What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JP. Today I have the BLU G90 Pro, and you can pick this up on Amazon for about $250. Sometimes it goes on sale for either $220 or $230. I can't remember. You probably won't get the original deal that they had on this phone when it first came out back a week and a half ago. When it was $200, that's what I paid for it. Definitely worth it. If you can find it for $200, jump on it. But for $250, it's regular MSRP. I have to say it's worth it. It's a very compelling phone for $250. I haven't. If you go back on my channel and you watch all of my videos since January of this year, 2020, and I've done a lot of videos this year. Most of my phones have been 5G phones. I have had very few 4G phones. The original K30 I had was, obviously the 4G model, but I had the 5G ones after that. I did a video on the Realme 6 Pro, which was more or less of like a OnePlus Nord lookalike, but without the 5G. I didn't do a video on the Digi S5 Pro, which I did have. It's actually very similar to this phone here, spec-wise. And I'm kind of making up for not doing a video on that with this, because I do typically like blue phones more than Digis, even though Digis do have better band support, I have to say. But that's more or less for international usage. Blue works just fine in the US, with the exception of band 71, which... because of that, Digi has actually gotten a lot of Blue's customers. They've taken them, and I could see why. I could say, I get it. Blue is actually advertising the G90 Pro right here as a gaming phone, their first gaming phone. I'm gonna run down why they are advertising this as a gaming phone, and why it's really not a gaming phone. I could see why they're advertising it as such. They're not really doing anything wrong by doing so. They're not misleading you by the price. It definitely it more than foots the bill. You will have plenty of enjoyment with this phone with gaming. It is phenomenal. I'm gonna go. Really quick. My biggest complaint with this phone, the caveat, is that it only has 4 gigs of RAM. But even with that 4 gigs of RAM and that Helio G90T that I'll touch on here briefly in a moment, even with 4 gigs of RAM, this phone trucks right along. It does a fantastic job. And an attribute of this phone, in that same token, while we're talking about a con, I'm going to talk about a pro. Blue isn't advertising this for some reason, but this phone has wireless charging. I've even seen reviewers, when reviewing this phone, state that it doesn't have wireless charging, but it does. It does. If you remember correctly, this phone's predecessor, the G9 Pro, had wireless charging, and Blue made it a point to advertise wireless charging. But for some reason, its success right here, they are not, and it has it. It has it. And it works well, as long as you don't have the case on it. With the case, it doesn't work. But you take it out of the case, and it works. And that case is also really what kind of makes this a gaming phone when that's attached. And yes, I jiggled my camera like that on purpose. That stutter, that was me. I mean, a gaming phone is really not even about the specs. It's not about the specs at all. It's really about the design, if you think about it. The only other company that had a phone designed like this and got away with calling it a gaming phone was one of the original gaming phones back 2 years ago. Over 2 years ago. The Honor Play, if y'all remember, from Huawei sub-brand Honor, the Honor Play was designed just like this. It had that notch. And I think it was a bigger notch. I think it was an eyebrow notch, not a teardrop, but I could be wrong about that. It's been a while since I've laid eyes on that phone. But other than the Honor Play, gaming phones typically have the old-fashioned bezels. Not necessarily on the sides, but on the top and bottom, the chin and the forehead. They typically have an 18:9 aspect ratio instead of a 19:9 or a 20:9 here, or even more or less a 21:9 aspect ratio. Typically have an 18:9, or the Razer phone series had the old school 16:9 aspect ratio. They both did, the Razer phone 1 and 2. But Blue is calling this a gaming phone purely because of its specs, and its specs allow it to play Fortnite. PUBG can play on any phone. Let's face it. Now, whether or not it can handle the high settings, that's a different story. Most phones can also handle Call of Duty. And that's the latest of the three, between that, Fortnite, and PUBG. But most phones can handle Call of Duty. Again, maybe not on the highest settings. Fortnite is the only game that is spec specific. It's as you would expect. It's just like trying to run a high spec PC game on any PC. It's not gonna run on any PC. You know, it has to meet certain standards for it to run. That's how Fortnite on mobile is, just like it would be on your desktop, on your Windows machine. It has a certain criteria that it goes by, and they do that for support. They're able to offer you support, better support, because they have an ecosystem of devices that they know it works on. Because they're not able to help you if it's running on a device that they don't support. That's, and Fortnite is obviously a more graphical intense game. Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying that over Call of Duty or PUBG. It's just they govern it more, if that makes sense. But a big advertisement for this phone, as you'll see here, is that it's Fortnite compatible. And I think even on the back, I know it doesn't say it on the back, but here's a rundown of the specs right quick if y'all want to see that right quick there. Just a rundown if y'all want to pause that and check that out there afterwards. Oh yeah, it does say it in the back right there, Fortnite compatible. But that and the gaming-centric processor is really what's making Blue call this a gaming phone. But see, by that standard, any phone with the Helio G90T can be considered a gaming phone. Any phone with the Snapdragon 730G can be a gaming phone. The brand new 732G that was just introduced today with the Pogo X3 NFC can be considered a gaming phone. The Snapdragon 765G, gaming phone. The video I did before this is on a phone that I actually recommend over this for the same price if you're a T-Mobile and Metro customer, and that is the Revel 5G, aka the T-Mobile locked TCL 10 5G. You're only TCL 10 5G in the US until it's till TCL decides to release it elsewhere. Same price. I do recommend that phone because your 765G it is better than it is slightly faster than the Helio G90T, but that's not why I recommend it. It has 5G. The Helio G90T does not. The Revel 5G also has 6 gigs of RAM, whereas this has 4 gigs of RAM. But other than that, they're very similar phones. Very similar. They feel the same in the hands almost. They have a very, very striking design. I went over the back on that phone, and I've got to go over the back on this phone. It's a fingerprint magnet. Let me try to wipe that up. But again, excuse the fingernails here. But this is a gorgeous phone, and the light isn't even catching that problem. It's not doing it any justice. They did a fantastic job designing this phone. And this also has a 48 megapixel camera in the rear. It's a quad camera setup in the back. So there are 3 other lenses on the back. That's not including the front-facing camera, so 5 total. Decent camera, too. Again, it's a 48 megapixel. It is the Sony IMX 585 or whatever. It was the flagship sensor that phones were using last year. That, of course, the Blue G9 Pro did not use. They did actually come out with a 2020 revised G9 Pro. If y'all probably didn't even catch that, with a better camera system. And heck, I think it was a 48 megapixel. They upgraded it too. I don't know if it was a Samsung sensor or the Sony sensor, but this is the Sony sensor, and it's supposed to be better. So I'm guessing that was the Samsung on the revised G9 Pro. But this is the G90 Pro. Don't get it confused, because a month or two ago, Blue did release the G90 without the Pro. That was the G9's successor. Remember last year you had the G9 and the G9 Pro. Those served up as the year before the Vivo 11 and Vivo 11 Plus's successors. You can tell by the processors used. This is this is the G. Trying to keep up here. The G9 last year had the Helio P22. The G90 this year had the Helio A25, which is an upgrade from the P22. Man, come on, Justin. The G9 Pro, both variants, including the one with the better camera sensors, had the Helio P60, which is a highly rated processor, I might add. The blue bold N1 had the P70, P60, and then the P70. But this is not an N1 successor. That's bold blue's sub brand. They don't have a successor for that yet. Of course, this is better than that, but it's not meant to be the successor. The G9 Pro had the Helio P60. This has the Helio G90T, which serves as the P60, P70 successor. I really wasn't even expecting the G9 Pro successor, the G90 Pro found here, to actually have that good of a processor. I honestly thought that it was going to have the P90. The P90 is the obvious upgrade from the P70. I thought this was going to have the P90, and that the bold N1 successor, the N2 or whatever they decide to call it, would have the G90T. It just made sense. That's just kind of, that's kind of what I was thinking. Because the N1 last year kind of served more or less as a successor to the Vivo 11 Plus from the year before than the G9 Pro did to the 11 Plus, because they both shared the same processor but were a year apart. It's not so much of a upgrade if you were coming from the Vivo 11 Plus from the year before. See, but the G70 found in the N1 was an upgrade from the P60. I meant P70. See, I'm getting the P's and the G's mixed up. But the obvious upgrade or the evolution from the P70 would be the P90, which is what I expected this to have, and then maybe the N1 successor would have the G90T, but this has a G90T, and I'm not complaining. You shouldn't either. It's a fantastic processor. It does a great job. It actually makes me hopeful of what the N1 successor will have, because the next processor up, well, I mean, they did technically just announce the G95, but that was like as of a couple days ago. When this phone was in production, the G90T successor would be the Dimensity 800, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm going in chronological order. And the Dimensity 800 is a 5G chipset. All Dimensity chipsets are. They got a lot of them now too, and not in specific orders, but you got the Dimensity 720, you have the 800, the 820, you have the 1000L, the 1000, the 1000C, the 1000 Plus. I feel like I'm missing another 800 series Dimensity processor. I feel like there's more than just the 800 and 820, like an 820C or something like that. But one of those are the obvious upgrade from the G90T. Besides the G95 that was literally just announced a couple days ago. I mean, that's a successor now, yeah, obviously, but when this phone was in production and most other phones with the G90T, that wouldn't be the successor. But what Blue actually has a really compelling package here. What makes this a gaming phone over the Honor Play, again, if y'all remember that phone, is the case. It's almost like this phone it's not a modular phone, but it can be, the case makes it really, the case is intriguing. Look at it. It's a basic silicone case. It has that carbon fiber design that Blue's been shipping with a lot of their phones lately. Instead of those clear TPUs, this offers a lot more protection. It's not clear like I like them to show off the aesthetics, show off the real nice color. But you know what, though? I can dig this. It works really well. It's thick. The wireless charging doesn't work when this is on. You're going to have problems with it. But look at it. If you can't tell, there's slots in it for air venting. That is awesome. Also, if you can tell by the curvation on the sides, it's made with a grip to hold on both palms while gaming. It does a fantastic job of that. And I like BLU's little logo right there. I know a lot of people aren't big on branding, but you gotta admit that's pretty nice how they incorporated that. They did a good job there. When this case is on this phone, it looks like a gaming phone then. It looks like a gaming phone. Without the case, it looks like a freaking $1,000 flagship. All glass design, no plastic. That color's just outstanding. Great camera system for the price. USB Type-C, headphone jack. Beautiful LCD screen, 6.5 inch. It's big. It has a nice weight to it. It feels freaking amazing in the hands. Ladies, you definitely know the procedure. I mean, this phone is all around great. It has a very stockish Android interface. It is Android 10. It is a fingerprint magnet. Again, it is this camera's not doing this phone any justice. It is absolutely stunning. This phone is a stunner for $250, for $300. I mean, yeah, I honestly, man, if BLU made this phone with 6 gigs of RAM, it would be worth $300 easily. Add a Dimensity chipset just for the 5G connectivity, $350, $400 easily. I do want to tell y'all right quick what someone brought to my attention in another YouTube video before mine. And I have a video from last year of the first Helio G90T powered phone, which was the Redmi Note 8 Pro. I absolutely loved that phone. When I got rid of it, I bought another one because I missed it that much. This phone front and back is designed exactly like it. The fingerprint sensors in the same spot, the camera sensors are positioned the same, the flash, everything. It almost lines up perfectly. I actually wish I still had a Note 8 Pro to compare. But a lot of people are suggesting that this is a rebadged, re-engineered Note 8 Pro from Xiaomi for the US market. Now, rather not it really is, I'm going to lean more towards no, even though I would love for it to be. That would make me excited, because for those of you that know me know I'm a big Xiaomi fan. Most phones on my channel are Xiaomi phones. I would love Xiaomi to sell more than just TV dongles here in the US, to be quite frank. This phone, it has the same specs, minus 2 gigs of RAM, because the Note 8 Pro started off with 6 gigs. This has 4, but that's something that can be changed. In these procedures. When rebadging a phone, that's not beyond the realm of taking something out and changing it. They can do that. This phone, besides that, because think about it, they took 2 gigs of RAM away but added wireless charging. The Note 8 Pro had a glass design but didn't have wireless charging. This does. You see what I'm saying? So it lines up. As you know, BLU phones back several years ago used to be rebadged or re-engineered versions of G90 phones. Now they're rebadged phones from Micromax, just to name one company. They use 2 other companies besides them as well. BLU actually doesn't manufacture their own phones, as most of you know by now. But G90 used to be their main supplier. They had another brand at that same time too that was lesser known, and I don't think they use either one of them anymore. But they use Micromax and 2 other brands, possibly 3 other brands. And it's back to the whole realm of belief, or out of the question type thing that I was just bringing up about taking RAM out or whatnot. It's highly possible. It's highly possible, even if this is not a rebadged Xiaomi phone, a Redmi Note 8 Pro, that is possible. It is possible for a US brand to to get licenses from Xiaomi to bring their phones here under a different brand, under BLU's brand, if they wanted to. If it's something that Xiaomi would allow. I mean, it's perfectly fine, because when BLU used to do it with G90 wasn't just some cheap unknown brand. They were unknown here, but they were huge in China at one time. They weren't as big as Xiaomi, but they were big at one time. You know, and they struck some kind of deal with BLU to bring their phones to the U.S. under BLU's name. You know, and I mean, that's definitely possible. I would be, dude, I'll tell you. If I sold this phone tomorrow and then found out that it actually really was a Xiaomi re-engineered phone for the U.S. market, a Note 8 Pro, I would jump right back and pay that $250 for this phone. I mean, this phone is awesome as it sits, and it does remind me a lot of the Note 8 Pro. It's fantastic, and it does game, and it games well. That G90T Helio from MediaTek, I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's better than the Snapdragon 730G. Now the 732G just came out. It was announced today with the Poco X3. I haven't seen official benchmarks. I'm sure it'll be compared to the G90T, but then again, the G95 just came out to compete with the 732G. Neither one of them have 5G, just like this doesn't have 5G and the 730G didn't have 5G. That's found in the Pixel 4a. But if you know, the Helio G90T is one of the best, if not the best, 4G chipset behind maybe the Snapdragon 845. And it actually benchmarks with the 845 if you look it up. This phone, if you could get it for $200, it is a steal. $250, it's still a fantastic price. If they gave this 6 gigs of RAM, it would easily be worth 3 gigs of RAM. I mean, it would easily be worth $300. Because really the only choice I can think of that's better that's better than this is the phone I just reviewed before this. Whether or not you see it before this remains to be seen, but the Revel 5G. But that's really only if you're a T-Mobile or Metro customer or planning to go to T-Mobile or Metro. But I am working on Unlock. That may only cost me $50, and then it would really be worth it. Then it would definitely be worth more than this because I paid $200 for it. $200 plus $50. It's obviously $250. They actually have a discount on Metro for that other phone. For current customers where they get $100 off. It's not the glorious $200, but $100 off is better than nothing, and you're going to pay $300 instead of $400, which is still a great deal. But again, watch that video. It may or may not be uploaded before this one. For that phone, I would definitely recommend this at the very top of that list for that price point. This phone is great. It is great. The system runs great. It is stockish Android again. Beautiful design. It's a mono speaker, but it sounds great. There's a little rundown of your specs there, if you want to pause and peek through that right quick there. It does have expandable memory, huge 5100 milliamp battery. You do get the quick charge in the box. You get a braided cable right there and headphones. The headphones are really good quality too. You get a tempered glass screen protector. It comes with a plastic one already installed, but you get a glass one included in there. Get your awesome gaming case, stickers, other literature, SIM ejector tool. Pretty nice box, honestly. You know how BLU does. They do a really good job with their presentation and what they include. But this phone, it's weird. It's cool because they consider it a gaming phone just because of its specs, but it's more than specs. The design plays a lot into what makes a gaming phone as well, because I have gaming phones that I can compare this to right now, and it looks nothing like them. I have the ROG Phone 3 and the Red Magic 5S. I can easily compare this to, and it doesn't fit the bill. And it's not even because of specs, because the G90T can game. But see, when you put it in this case, then it kind of, besides the notch right there, besides the teardrop notch, it looks like a gaming phone, especially when you turn it on the back. And look how that purple goes through it there. It is beautiful. Very, this was thoroughly thought through. You could tell. I mean, it was thoroughly thought through. They really did a good job designing this. The fingerprint sensor's fast. It does have facial recognition, which I don't have set up. But yeah, y'all check it out. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Got a couple more videos coming up this week. T-Mobile Velvet 5G with the Dimensity 1000 from LG and MediaTek. Kind of a joint venture there along with T-Mobile. Got the Note 20 video still coming. Tick Wash GTX coming. As I'm making this video, I got a video uploading now for the Revel 5G, aka the TCO10 5G. The freaking Pixel 4a 5G killer. Yes, I just said that. I didn't even say Pixel 4a killer. I said Pixel 4a 5G killer. That phone's a freaking beast. Anyways, y'all check me out. Hit me up in the comments. I appreciate y'all very much, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace. Wait. That reminds me, y'all. Oh, wait. I did already go about the bands. That's right. It doesn't have band 71 or 66, but of course 71 is the important one that it's missing. But it does work perfectly fine. LTE is blazing fast on this phone for what it's worth, even though it's not 5G. But Blue's getting there. If their next flagship's not 5G, the one after that will be. I guarantee it. And the price is going to be unbeatable for that. They keep getting better and better at these price points. It's crazy. Anyways, y'all, hit me up. Holla at your boy. Peace.